February 4th is today, 2026. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this video. After the United States deployed some soldiers to Nigeria, as announced by the African Command, the U.S. Congress is holding panel, a new section today on Nigeria as I speak to you. Why are they holding new sections? They are going to receive testimonies. They are going to receive evidence that the Christian persecution or religious killing have not ended in Nigeria. And according to the information available on their website, it shows that they are talking about preventing a religious war from happening because the people who are killing because of religion, they are not stopping anytime soon. So the decision that will be reached at the end of this sitting U.S. Congress panel, it is going to go a long way to redefining the agreement that United States had with Nigeria before today. Now, before I go forward, let us come to the reality of everything. Right from the very first day, United States President Donald J. Trump made a famous statement about guns blazing. He said that the Nigerian government should go fast and disarm these terrorists. If not, that he himself will come into Nigeria guns blazing and wipe away these terrorists who are killing the cherished Christians. Now, the issue here is simple. Right from the time the National Security Advisor went to US to sign agreement to disarming this Fulani militia and other similar terrorists of the same intent, the same intention of religious something. The Nigeria promised US that they are going to disarm these people. I told them that, look at, these people are entering into a trap. That Trump is just putting Nigeria into a trap. You know you can't disarm these people. You know that people in government have been sponsoring these people. You know that it's not going to be easy for you. You know that some people in Nigeria love these people. They call them freedom fighters. And you believe you can disarm them. Here we are today. This panel that is holding is having, big wings that always influence international decision, who are coming to testify that this is a continuous thing. Don't forget that so many American humanitarians and missionaries are in Nigeria, building houses, rebuilding houses, and most of them, like what happened last time in Plateau State, when those killings happened and so many Christians were abducted. I saw a group of people, including American humanitarians, who were going to this. Simply said nothing happened, that they should go back. And the following day, the news was everywhere that police have made a U-turn. Like, there is a collusion. Everybody knows that this is not happening for nothing. Now, let us understand the details of this panel, U.S. panel that is holding today. Now, it reads that witnesses appearing before the United States Congress Foreign Affairs Committee have cautioned that Nigeria is at the risk of descending into widespread Christian-Muslim violence, identifying the country as a major flashpoint in an escalating global crisis of religious freedom. The warning is contained in written testimonies released ahead of the joint hearing of the committee, which is holding today, being Wednesday, 4th February 2026. With witnesses citing recurring killings, displacement, and insecurity as indicators of an emerging broader religious conflict in Nigeria. The hearing will be jointly convened by the House Subcommittee on Africa and the Subcommittee on the Western Hemisphere to assess what the U.S. lawmakers describe as mounting threats to religious freedom worldwide. It is titled Defending Religious Freedom Around the World. Written testimonies by key witnesses were released on the committee's website ahead of the section and are expected to be delivered when the hearing convenes. Among those scheduled to testify are the former U.S. Ambassador at large for International Religious Freedom, Sam Brownback, Principal Advisor to Global Religious Freedom at the U.S. State Department, Mark Walker, Grace Drexel, daughter of the detained Chinese pastor, Israel Jin, and Dr. Stephen Schneck, former chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom. So these are the big wings who have been influencers, influencing the world about the global threat of religious freedom, the spread of Sharia, and so on and so forth. And if you have studied these people, testimonies, decision, and their advice to the world, these people mean well for the world. These people have never encouraged that people who are radicals, Islamists, should live together with Christians. There is no way it is going to happen. And this is just saying that what I have been offering as solution right from time. I said that if Nigeria want to witness everlasting peace, of which that is what we all have been praying for, what Nigerians should do is just to confide all these ethnic, personalities or groups into different countries. It doesn't matter how many countries they could be. Confide them to different countries and there will be peace. Now, Syria and Nigeria are a key focus area of opportunity for them in their quest for dominance, excluding all their faiths, even others within Islam. The people of faith being targeted by this persecution are America's greatest allies in the spread of freedom around the world. We should see and treat them as such, he stated. The ex-envoy identified religious freedom as a central fault line in global politics, warning that authoritarian and totalitarian regimes increasingly view faith communities as threats to state control. Religious freedom is now one of our primary weapons against the dark alliance gathered against us, Bromback said in his prepared testimony that he is going to deliver today. Bromback singled out Nigeria as a major global flashpoint, describing the country as the deadliest place on the planet to be a Christian. Is he lying? Absolutely no. He warned that patterns of violence across the country suggest a deepening religious crisis with implications beyond Nigerian borders. Early warning signs of a Muslim on Christian war are brewing across Africa, he wrote, adding that Nigeria sits at the center of that danger. The ex-ambassador also raised concerns about foreign involvement in Nigerian security landscape, stating that support from countries such as China, Russia, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia could worsen instability if not carefully scrutinized. Do you understand? When I was making the video of international relations and international politics, a lot of people don't know where I'm coming from. You see what the former US envoy is saying now, who is going to testify today, bringing Turkey to play a military role in a religious extremist insecurity agenda. It is more or less colluding with them. So there is nothing good that is going to come out from it. It is going to worsen everything you think about this. It's going to worsen it. So this is the stance of these people, and they are going to testify today. The meeting is going to hold today. Now, for those of you who always frown at us anytime we are talking about the issue of religious freedom, issue of Christian genocide and all those things, and some people will come out to say, no, we love Nigeria, we do this. Is there anybody who doesn't love the place he came from? No, you people don't love people living in Nigeria. You love your businesses, you love your interests. That is not patriotism. Some people say we'll fight for Nigeria. You will fight for Nigeria and allow your people to be killed. People are in IDP camp. You say, what do you want to fight for? Like, who are you fighting for? Anybody who is saying or making this statement, it is because if he's a man, his wife have not been, his wife's head has not been cut off. His children have not been born alive. His mother has not been raped. His families have not been shot dead. Like, they are free from all this danger. It has not touched them. That is why they come out to talk nonsense, write nonsense on social media, at the detriment of the pains of people who have left their ancestral homes, who are in danger and crying because of what is going on. Many people are not sensitive because of the business interests they have, because they have connections with politicians. Is there anybody who doesn't have connection with politicians? If my connection with politicians will prevent me not to say the truth, then meaning I'm stupid. Yeah, meaning I'm not even worthy to be called a human. That human is not in me. You are just a being, not human. Because if you have that human in you, you will always feel what your people are feeling. You will always try to put yourself in the shoes of people who have been in IDP camp for 10 years. I have said this continuously, that the only solution to curbing all these crises is partitioning. Nigeria have to divide into different countries. I don't care. But everybody need to have power to defend themselves. Nigeria stripped away power for you to defend yourself. Nigeria has stripped away everything you can think or imagine that you have. And Abuja is dangerous controlling it. And Abuja imported terrorists in 2015. We all knows about this. The coalition of Tinubu and Buhari, they imported these Fulani militias. That is what people are not understanding. Pseudo intellectuals are there deceiving you. They will motivate you to death. They don't mean well for you. They mean well for their businesses. That your politicians imported terrorists. And they are now trying to deceive you, tell you that nothing is existing. Are we dumb? We were not born from outside the country and brought into Nigeria. We were born and brought up from this Nigeria. You get it? We were born and brought up from this Nigeria. So we know what is going on. Don't come out and tell me nonsense, okay? According to Fenda, you don't give me my human right. I know my human right. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that America is not going to do everything for us. People need to step up their games. Start developing your people. Don't let your agitation only focus on break. Develop your people. Train your people. Focus on development, because Nigeria will not remain the same forever. Yeah, it might take time. So don't just fold your hands because you don't believe that Nigeria is not going to work. Develop your people. Start building. Do whatever things you can do, despite the limitation that Nigeria state is imposing on people. Do whatever you want to do, and at the end, I believe that Nigeria will not remain the same. This thing that is going on is a global threat. The world understands it very well. So it's not just a Nigerian thing that someone will come out to tell us that there is nothing like Christian genocide. It's not a Nigerian thing, it's a global thing. So the world knows what is actually going on. So do not be dismayed. Do not be afraid. Just hold your head high, because no matter how long it takes, freedom is coming. Okay? I remember those years in the olden days. I said in the olden days, it's not far. I'm talking about 20, 25 years ago. We used to come out outside in the midnight, do whatever we want to do. Like, we live in a free world. We go to the farm and we come back from the farm around 10 in the midnight, 9 in the evening sometimes. So, like, there is no threat or danger. We don't perceive anything danger. We go to the bush to set trap. I personally used to set trap. I go to the bush alone. Just go there alone. Nobody, like, can you do it today? You can't. You sign your debt, warrant before you go, because you can't come back alive. And people are trying to normalize it, psycho condition you that this is normal. To hell with those people. Tell us what you think about it.
You see, my stance on Nigerian Islamization has never changed, and it won't change. I'm telling you the truth. For some of us that have lived in the north, okay, will tell you that it can never change. The ideology of these people I don't want to go into other things. Let me just concentrate on this Islamization. When Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was speaking about this Islamization, people were thinking that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is just a fool. That is what they thought. But they forgot that in the 70s, Gowon, who is a Christian, an Angas man from Jos Plateau, took Nigeria to what we call observatory position in the Organization of Islamic Congress, 1970s. I think this should be around 74 or 75. You can fact check that. I think in 1985, Ibrahim Babangida was the person that officially took Nigeria. And today, Nigeria is a member of the Organization of Islamic Congress. Where were the Christians when these things were going on? Where were the secularism of Nigeria that people are preaching today when these things were going on? Don't you know that when you attest or sign into a convention, you are part of it, and all the tenets derived from that convention that you sign is binding on you? Where were our people when we were in the military? Those of us were the junior officers. We do not have the authority to do or change anything in the hierarchy of the military command. Those that were saddled with the responsibility and decision making in the military were mainly from the northern part of Nigeria. The southerners cannot even speak. When you speak, you don't even have authority. Your words doesn't have any authority. Islamization of Nigeria has been there from Osman Danfodio. When Osman Danfodio died, his generations unborn and those that are coming now are carrying it out. You have been playing Olawumi's video. That is it Navy Commodore? You've been playing. It will take them, even if America begin to bomb them, send ballistic missiles, precision or supersonic, they will recoil. Once they recoil, after some time, they will still come on. See, the only solution for Nigeria to get away, let me say southwest, south, if there is anything like south, and southeast, to get away from these people is to go the way of Yugoslavia. I told you here before, the Bosnian Serbs are Islam. They are Muslim-dominated area in former Yugoslavian Republic. They are the Muslims. Immediately, the communist system failed in those areas, Eastern Europe. Then the Bosnians tried to take over the rest of the Yugoslavia, which they tried. Then people started crying, especially the Chinese, the Croatians, the Slovenians, the North Macedonians. They started crying. The United Nations had their cry, and they sent the United Nations Peace Protection Force in Yugoslavia, and they braved way for these people now to break away into 7 countries. Today, you cannot see the influence of Islamic, tendencies or tenets or application of Islamic laws in Croatia, North Macedonia, Slovenia, and the rest of them. That is the only thing that is going to save Nigeria. If not, no matter how long we cry about it, these people are bound to do it. And remember that you have serious countries that have that are wealthy countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Iran, Syria, all of them, even including Egypt. They are all wanting to see Nigeria Islamized. So they will fund it. Remember, I told you the former Zamfara state governor, Ahmed Yerima, when in 2000, I was still serving as at that time, January 2000, when he introduced Sharia in the north. Go and check the people that were responsible for the funding and sending of so much, billions of dollars to fund him in order to actualize Sharia. And that is exactly what Nigerian people are seeing today. So the only way forward for you and my mother's ancestral land is to go the way of Yugoslavia. If not, Marcel, I swear to you, they will implement it. No matter how long it's going to take them, they are going to implement it. Go the way of Yugoslavia, and everybody will be peaceful. Thank you.
Yeah, just the last question I want to ask you, sir. I know that you are close to the farm. Maybe you've got some work to do. Now, what is the step you've served? Like you are talking about Yugoslavia now, you have been there as a Nigerian soldier representing Nigeria in the UN peacekeeping in Yugoslavia. Then I don't know what you people went there to do, whether to stop them from fighting or whether to divide the country. I don't know. Maybe you explain to us better. But what I'm trying to say is that as Nigeria is now, many people are saying we need to divide. There will be partitioning. But what is the step you think that people should take? Like, what is the step towards this?
You see, the only step I see there is you and I, the way we are talking here today. That is the only way. Sensitization of our people to let them know that there is no hope in Nigeria as long as Islamic religion, is holding its way, especially in the northern Nigeria, is to at least do what these people did. Because you see, just like if somebody told you that evangelist Ezekiel Choma, the America will hear his voice. That will also tell you that when you cry and cry just like evangelist, Ezekiel cried, they will hear you, because it is evidential in that country that Christians are on the verge of being terminated. They told you the issue statement, and don't take their statement with levity. They told you convert to Islam or die, and go to those places, go to those areas that they are, buying and unleashing their mayhem. Check whether they are Muslim dominated areas. These are Christian major. Let me just say 97% of these communities are Christian dominated areas. If you hear that they attack a mosque, or they want to send a narrative to the world that, oh, it is not only Christians that are being killed, but their target is those people that they feel that don't belong, to their own religion. So the only way forward is for those that are concerned to begin to cry and let the world, those that make the decisions in this world, to understand that just like the Chinese, the Croatians spoke and shouted, and United Nations came in. That is the only thing. Without that, there will be no peace in that country. I swear to you, Master Coach. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Awimbo.
And for me to say this, let me say this before I go. Let me say this before I go.
All right.
Any Nigerian that is hoping for a new Nigeria, is a mirage. It's a mirage. You see, the foundation of Nigeria, that 1999 constitution can never make you a Christian to be protected as long as Islam is involved in Nigeria.
And it's not only a Christian. And it's not only a Christian, sir. It's just like what I was telling people from the beginning of this program. This Yoruba traditional, people. There is a woman that was forced to convert to Islam and she refused. They burned her houses and the woman is crying out loud. Nobody is there to help her.
No, go and see. I
It's
think
wrong.
in a lorry they ban the traditional. In a lorry they ban the Yoruba indigenous people, the traditionalists, from carrying out their Isheshe, and that was
That is what.
exactly what their prophet.
Yeah.
That was exactly how their prophet took the war to Medina. They, those that worship idols, that was they took jihad on them, and eliminated the majority of them. Some of them run into exile. So that's the template that is going to play in Nigeria. And they are setting their feet little by little, with Nigerian government and the 1999 constitution aiding them. If you go and listen to Obasanjo's address, he said 2000, when the Sharia incident started, that states have the right, to practice their own law. But you have a section in the Nigerian constitution that bars every state from carrying out state religion. But
Yeah.
the Nigerian government allowed them to introduce the tenet of Islam, which was the introduction of Sharia. So how do you want to tell me that these people will not get grant to do whatever they do? That is the reason why you see the spiral effects of the introductions of these tenets of Islam is what is happening. And for
It's all
those
right.
of you that are here, I would like you to read this. If you want to see that Islam is not tolerant to you and me, go and read Quran chapter 9, verse 29. Quran
29. Yeah.
chapter 9, verse 29. I said it here before. I would like those of us that are watching to go and read and see what awaits you if you continue to see a new Nigeria where these terrorists are having stronghold on. Thank you so much for having
All
me.
right.
God bless
All right, Mr. Wimbo. Thank you.
Trending currently on the Nigeria internet space in the last 24 hours is that the United States of American government, under the leadership of Mr. Donald J. Trump, finally sent down troops, or rather a team of military officers, down to Nigeria through their African Command, popularly known as AFRICOM, under the leadership of General Dagvin Anderson. In essence, this team of military officers have been deployed to Nigeria to assist Nigerian government on counter-terrorism. It has been stated categorically that these military officers are coming to Nigeria with some specialized, capabilities to assist the Nigerian, military in what they are already doing to boost their morale, boost their capacity, assist them in intelligence gathering, and enable them carry out precise attacks on the terrorist group operating in the Nigerian northern region, precisely the Boko Haram, the ISWAPs, and other organized crimes in that very area. This very latest development in the deployment of the US soldiers down to Nigeria is not coming as a surprise. According to relevant information, this is coming after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the late last year, precisely in October, finalized a security meeting all the way in Rome, precisely in the month of October in the year 2025, during the Aqaba Process Summit, which was co-chaired by the King of Jordan, King Abdullah II, and the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni. In that very summit, the focus was on how to halt, the escalating terrorism going on in West Africa and other associated, organized crime. So it was, an alternative opportunity for the Nigerian president to have had that very security closure meeting with a representative from the United States of American government, that attended that very section. But principally, that summit was attended by many African countries. Togo was there, Sierra Leone was there, Nigeria was duly represented by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Mali was equally there, and some other, countries across Africa, especially from West African bloc. And thereafter, United States of American government, under the leadership of Mr. Donald J. Trump, reached out a more robust bilateral, security agreement, agreeing together that more needs to be done from the side of the United States of American government, to help and aid the Nigerian, military in combating, insecurity, terrorism in the northern part of Nigeria. Hence, the reason for the deployment of the the team of military officers. According to relevant information on the internet space, as was released by General Dagvin Anderson, it was not stated in clarity the numbers of this team of military officer, whether it was a full troop or troops that were deployed to Nigeria. Many of you can still recall that a troop usually is made up of between 100 and 250 soldiers. A smaller troop sometimes ranges between 15 or between 18 to 50 soldiers. But according to relevant information that we have seen so far, it is said that a small team of military officers were deployed to Nigeria, meaning that it may not really be up to a troop. You know what I mean? It could be just a fraction of a troop. There are a whole lot of speculations currently on the internet space. Tempos are high. Whether this is something else to be pretty much afraid of. Well, from relevant information we can see so far, this is not an invasion. United States of American government is not invading Nigeria from what we have seen. This, team were just being deployed to, assist the Nigerian military with the specialized capabilities they are coming in with. According to some of the privileged information, some, special, capabilities are coming in through some soldiers that were also being deployed direct from the United States of America, to do knowledge sharing, train and equip the Nigerian soldiers, assist them in intelligence gathering, and then give them reliable information to make precise, strikes in the camps, of this, terrorist group operating in the northern part of Nigeria. However, one thing we must not take away from that is that the moment there is military presence of a country, it becomes very easy to normalize their presence, on a larger scale, and the escalation becomes pretty much more easy. These are some of the extracts from expert analysis based on history and all of that. So whether you like it or not, the United States of American government at this material time is moving at the speed of light to enlarge their coast and their influence. They are spreading their tentacles more, for the singular reason that this team of military officers are currently in Nigeria. It means that every other thing will also be very much possible, whether you like it or not. And we must also not forget what is happening in the Sahel between Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. These three countries are currently being ruled by military president, after their successful coups over the years, and they came together to form the Alliance of Sahel States. That over the years, the United States of American government had earlier rebuked them, calling them to move back to a civilian democratic governance, of which these countries said no categorically, in clarity, that they were not interested in going back to democratic governance. But as we speak, United States of American government is making a shift in their foreign policy. In fact, one of the senior diplomats from the United States of America, what is his name? Mr. Nick Chekla, who happens to be the Bureau official on African affairs. If he's not already in Bamako, they will be visiting Bamako, in order to strengthen their diplomatic ties once again with the Sahel state. These members of the Alliance of Sahel, that is Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. So they want to reestablish military ties, and then have their presence in the Sahel, and then also have access to their natural mineral resources like lithium, gold, and the rest of them. Why is the United States of American government moving at the speed of light over this? Because of the influence of Russia currently in Africa, especially in Sahel. I think Russia is currently having ties either with Mali or one of those countries, one of those Sahel, states, and they have over about 1,000 soldiers on ground at the Sahel. So United States of American government wouldn't want to take that for granted, because they want to also make sure that their influence is not relegated in Africa. So in view of all of this, it is believed that the United States of American government will further strengthen their presence in Nigeria, because they wouldn't want to lose Nigeria off to China or to Russia at the end of the day. And that also has compelled a lot of public opinion to say that if not sooner than later, that the United States of American government is likely to have a military base in Nigeria. This military base were part of the public opinion some time ago when Donald Trump, made that very threat of a possible military action in Nigeria over the persecution of Christians, the massacre of Christians by the Islamic jihadist group Boko Haram, ISWAPs, and other, criminal groups operating in the northern part of Nigeria. So a lot of public opinion were speculating that United States of American government were about to invade Nigeria, and then there are possible setting up of their military bases in the country as well. Well, we do know that over the years, US have in the past deployed their military officers to Nigeria, not for military action, but for basically training, for collaborations and all of that, but not in this very context that we see today. In 2026, over the years, it was more like like in the year 2000s. U.S. officers, military officers, were coming in to train and equip Nigerian soldiers, and then they will fly back. In 2018, they did the same thing. Then in 2020, one of the times U.S. Military came into Nigeria for some military action. The naval, fleet came into Nigeria in 2020 for a rescue operation to rescue a United States of American citizen that was kidnapped. So they rescued, their citizen peacefully, even without many Nigerian security agencies being aware of that. So in and out of season, US have been coming into Nigeria, but it seems that this very time is taking a brand new shape, which public opinion and some speculations are saying that this will go further to strengthen United States of American soldiers, military presence in Nigeria, on a broader scale, and possibly establishing a military base. So whatever may be the case, we live in 21st century, and this is 2026. Like I told you in many of my videos, the global politics is being shaken at the moment. Things are changing very rapidly. United Nations is crying. World Health Organization is crying. US is pulling out of all of these organizations, and a lot is going on. And Donald Trump is fast, expanding the tentacles of the United States of America to make sure that they continue to be the world power that they have always been. Without interference with, from China, Russia, and other associated nations that are also teaming up to get to the global stage of politics. So a lot will happen in the coming days, in the coming weeks, especially now that Nigeria is preparing for 2027 presidential election. There are speculations, tempos are high, and, I don't want to get into bigger details until we get more reliable information to share with you guys out there. But at this point, I'll allow you guys to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section, and share this video. Man, another person see him. God bless you.
I dare to tell this nation today that this is the problem. This constitution can never give us progress. This constitution can never give us peace. This constitution can never give us unity. And unfortunately, most of us in this National Assembly, we don't have the spine to face what we need to give this republic to have peace and progress. What do I mean? This constitution has 68 items. 68 on the exclusive list. This constitution has only 12 on the concurrent list. And those 12 are written so nebulously, so fraudulently, that you know that the intention is to even undermine those concurrent lists.
Wetin you dey wait for? If you never subscribe to Arole Baba 1010 Media and TV, you dey miss street gist.